A common problem with the Saab 9.5 is that the alarm system can start to behave badly after a few years. I mean, let's face it, the newest Saab 9.5 of the first generation was made in 2010, which makes this car about 7 years old by now. You can get random messages about the service theft alarm in the SID, or much worse, you can get random alarms at random times. And if you, like me, have had this problem, you know this always happens at 3 AM and all your neighbors will be wondering why your car is making such a loud noise. So in this first video I just want to give a general overview of the Saab 9.5 and Saab 9.3 alarm systems, and also give some common workarounds to fix this issue. Part 2 of this video will actually be the real fix, but putting everything together in one video would be too long, so I'm splitting it up into 2 parts. So this video will affect the Saab 9.5 like Anna's 2006 9.5 Vector or my 2009 Saab 9.5 Griffin. Also, the first generation Saab 9.3 has the exact same alarm system. If your Saab 9.3 is a 2003 or newer, that means you have the new generation Saab 9.3. It's a completely different system, so these instructions don't apply. So at the heart of the issue is this alarm siren. It's almost in the same place for the 9.3 and the 9.5. It's in the front left wheel well under the fender liner. And in the 9.5 the siren is in front of the wheel, and in the 9.3 it's behind the wheel. Now I will show disassembly of this siren in a later video, but let's look inside for now. You will see 2 orange batteries. And the very short explanation as to why the alarm system is failing is that these 2 batteries are empty. But there are more factors than this that causes problems, and I will talk more about this in part 2 of this video. So sorry guys, I had to go inside. It started to rain real bad and I couldn't shoot outside anymore. So these batteries inside the siren act as a backup source of power for the siren. And the idea is that the alarm should sound even if a thief were to open up the hood and unplug the main battery. So if that happens and the power is lost to the car, the siren is programmed to go off on its own. Alright, so all Saab 9.5s have an immobilizer, which is made to make it harder to steal the car without having the correct key. But the theft alarm and the siren was an option you had to pay for. And the theft alarm includes a number of components that were added to the car. So inside the car there's a glass breakage sensor, and it is a microphone with a simple digital filter to essentially listen to the sound that glass makes when it breaks. So that if anyone forces the window, the alarm is supposed to go off. In a wagon like this one, there are 2 glass breakage sensors. One is in the reading light for the rear seats, and one is in the roof lamp for the trunk. And if you have a 4-door car like the sedan, you only have 1 glass breakage sensor, and that's the one in the reading light above the rear seats. And then on top of the option of having an alarm system, there's also an option of a tilt sensor. And the idea was that the car alarm should go off if someone tries to lift the car up or put it on a flatbed and take it in that way. But not all Saabs with alarm systems have this tilt sensor, so you'll have to look in the papers for your car, or even check under the passenger seat, under the carpet, to see if you have a tilt sensor there. Now, this tilt sensor can be a bit annoying if you're going on a ferry ride, because then you have to disable it, otherwise the natural leaning and heeling of the ferry will make the car alarm go off. And trust me, the deck wardens on the car deck are really tired of having car alarms go off for this reason. So check the manual to see how you disable your tilt sensor if you're going on a ferry. But let's go back to talking about this alarm siren. The real solution is of course to lift the car up, take the front left wheel off, take the fender liner off slightly and reach in and pull the siren, then take it apart and then remanufacture it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do in part 2 of this video. But in this part 1 we'll stick to some simple workarounds you can do. Because let's face it, these Saabs are getting a bit old and you might not find it worth the time and trouble to do the remanufacturing. So the very first and simplest workaround you can do is to actually lock the car using only your key. And no, I'm not talking about the remote feature, like this, when I unlock and lock with the remote. Instead, you'll have to resort to locking with the key in the door. Because that means the car alarm is never enabled and you can sleep well at night without anything happening. I had to do this with my old car, you know, the 2002 Saab 9.5 Aero, you know as Luxon. When I got the car it had these random failings in the alarm system and the siren could go off at any time, especially at night. And I have to pause here to tell you a small anecdote. So we had bought Luxon just a few weeks before our wedding and we both knew that you have to lock the car with a key so that the siren wouldn't go off. And we used Laxen to get to our own wedding. We parked the car just outside the church and all the guests were waiting inside. Now I just want to say we used a completely different, more exclusive car when traveling from the wedding. Actually a mint condition Model T. But the point is that Laxen was parked just outside the church. And I gave the keys to a friend to park the car while we entered the church and the ceremony. And just about halfway through the ceremony I realized that, well, crap. The guy who parked the car doesn't know about this problem, so he probably locked it with a remote control. And for the rest of the ceremony I was so nervous that the car alarm would go off and ruin the entire moment. Now, luckily it didn't. We had an amazing wedding, best day of my life. But the moral of the story, that locking with the key is just a temporary fix and nothing you can do permanently. So the next workaround is slightly more involved. So if you want to do something more permanent, you can actually remove the alarm siren altogether. Yes, this will completely disable the theft alarm in the car, but at least you won't have to live with these troubles. And when you do this, every time you start the car it will say Service Theft Alarm. Now it's not so strange when you think about it. The car runs a self-diagnosis every time you start it, and it detects that parts of the alarm system is completely gone. But you can still drive around, the immobilizer is not affected, so the only thing you have to worry about is to clear this error message on every startup. And then you can go to the dealership or find someone with a Tech 2 tool. And with this tool you can make the car forget about the alarm system altogether. So the result will then obviously be that the car is without the theft alarm. But you might be able to live with it. I mean, it's an old car. Who will want to steal this one? But if you're a Saab freak like I am, you will want to remanufacture this alarm siren. And that's exactly what we're gonna do in the next part of this video. Yes, we're gonna bring out our favorite tool, the soldering iron, and we'll go back to the electronics lab to get the work done. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching Trionic 7. Find us on social media, links below, and don't forget to subscribe to us here on YouTube for more content. Also remember, if you want to get notified right into your phone when we upload something new, be sure to click this little bell icon next to the subscribe button. In the meantime, I'm out and I'll see you in the next Saab video. Bye bye.